What's good, everybody? It's your man Dale, same time for Dale Short. It is Monday, April 14th. Um, and we're still talking about what's going on with the American economy, what's going on with the stock market, and more to the point, what's going on with the current administration and talking about the Trump administration. Um, I have been saying, and I'm adamant about this, that Trump doesn't really have a plan. He is doing what he's doing based on how he feels, right? So a lot of people are kind of fighting me on that. They're like, no, he has a plan. And they're like, well, why do you believe he doesn't have a plan? Like, well, just look at what's going on. It seems that the White House is constantly reacting to stuff that Trump is saying or doing. There's no coordinated message. Even the talking heads get out there, Commerce Secretary, Press Secretary, whoever, they'll say one thing, and then a day later, sometimes hours later, Trump will come out and say the exact opposite. So there's no plan. And then now, the narrative is the art of the deal, the art of the deal. I have the book, The Art of the Deal. And what I'm seeing right now is exactly how Trump moves. He talks about it in the book, and that book came out in 87, something like that, sometime in the 80s. And Trump says in the book, chapter 2, that he goes off of instinct. Actually, he said it from the very beginning, chapter 1, but in chapter 2, he really got into it. He goes off of instincts. He doesn't listen to the subject matter experts. He doesn't do due diligence. He does his own version of research. He doesn't pay people to do research. He doesn't hire the best people, right? I guess later in the book, he talks about hiring the best and brightest. But in chapter 2, he's talking about how to deal with the media, which is the way he's dealing with the media now. He talks about all these other things. He also says that he prepares for the worst case scenario. I don't think that's the case here. And the reason I say that is Trump is hemorrhaging support, and he's losing support from the people that he needs the most, the rich people, right? So we're going to watch a little bit from CNBC, how the money people are all wondering what Trump is doing, what's the plan, and they don't like what they're seeing. And this is why people are holding their money. This is why there's a contraction within the economy. This tariff war, this trade war that Trump started, completely unnecessary, and no one understands the end game. And at the end of the day, that's going to affect all of us, especially those of us who aren't in the 1%. So let's check this out.
Also is incorrect. So you have a lot of uncertainty, then you have a lot of people, especially in the business community, that don't like the policy at all in the first place.
Let me talk to you about the business community and that uncertainty, because obviously you advise a lot of corporate leaders. You spend plenty of time in boardrooms. Well, I'm not sure as much anymore because there may not be that many deals going on.
There's still board meetings.
Yes, there were still board meetings. So what are you hearing, and what are your expectations when it comes to trying to make decisions in an environment like this?
Well, last week, David, I made a point of calling a lot of CEOs because in a time of financial market turbulence like we've seen, extreme turbulence, it's a good idea to talk to your clients and discuss what you think it may mean, what their reaction to it is. And I heard two things across the board to a person that I spoke to. One, they don't like the tariff war. Not a single person expressed support for it. And there's no partisanship here. I'm not calling Democratic CEOs, or anything like that.
Right.
Two, they either are already seeing weakness in their business, or they're sure they're going to see some. And that's consistent with growth forecasts being marked down. I mean, at Evercore ISI, we were over 2% at the beginning of the year. Now we're 1% for the full year, and everybody else is doing the same thing in terms of growth expectations. So they're not feeling great because they don't like the policy and they think their businesses are being weakened by all the tumult around the policy, because the policy, this erratic on again, off again, up and down, is scaring consumers. And we'll see if that manifests itself. In other words, whether the consumer confidence decline manifests itself eventually into lower consumer spending. I think it will. And it's scaring, it's causing businesses to hesitate. When there's all this uncertainty, what does business do? It says, let's wait until the dust settles before we make big decisions.
Yeah.
That's Roger Altman. The guy's been around forever. Former deputy of Treasury, I think it was. It was in the bottom third there. This guy used to be in federal, and working with the feds. This guy's been a big time Wall Street dude forever. Again, I'm learning all about this. I've never been a money guy. I'm not a Wall Street person. I am trying to learn as much as I can, as fast as I can, to understand what's going on. But I understand supply and demand, and I understand consumer sentiment. Right? I grew up, I came up in the 70s and the 80s. Right? As a little kid, I was in the 70s watching grown-ups get nervous because money was tight. Into the 80s with the way things were happening in the streets, you know what I mean? With all that, you know what I'm saying, with the D game going crazy, right? And I understand when people are nervous, if they don't like what's going on, they're not gonna spend, right? Corporations, they're watching this, they're watching their numbers. Like you said, a lot of these corporations are sitting there bracing for their market softening. They're gonna take some sort of hit. They're watching this closely. So what are they going to do? They're going to hold on to their money. They're going to lay people off, right? They're going to stack cash and they're going to wait, right? All this is because of what's coming out of the Trump administration. Again, doesn't seem to be a plan. And if there is a plan, that plan is to hurt America, right? Because you look at what's going on here. Doesn't seem to be a plan. And all this lines up with what I've read so far in The Art of the Deal. I've had this books for years. It was way down on my read list. I brought it all the way up to the top. And like I said, reading chapter 2 was eye-opening. If you guys don't have this book, I suggest you get it. Right? And if you only read one chapter in the book, read chapter 2. Because chapter 2 gives you a really good insight into how Donald Trump thinks on these deals and gives you a really good insight on what he's doing. And I'm here to tell you, does not seem to be a plan. If he had a plan, he would have answers for the 1%. He would be able to tell the 1% when he got into office, this is what we're going to do. And the 1% in Wall Street can say, okay, we can plan for that. Wall Street doesn't have a problem with anyone's plan. They have a problem with uncertainty. They have no idea what's going on right now. The tariffs on again, off again, up and down. Like, bro, honestly, I don't even know what the tariffs are right now. I think right now, outside of China, I think it's a 20% across the board tariff. I think, but it might be 10%. I'm not sure where we are right now. And then there was supposed to be some sort of relief with the tariff on China. It was a carve out for electronic goods, but the Chinese tariff is like 145% right now. Outside of the the Mexico-Canada agreement, USA-Mexico-Canada agreement, I think those products contained in that agreement are good, but outside of that agreement, I think there's a 25% tariff, or is it 20, or is it 10? You see what I mean about the uncertainty? No one knows. You can't plan if you don't know what's going on. And if you're a big money guy, if you're a CFO, CEO, or you've got a small business that's doing really well, how can you make investments in this? How can you plan for quarter 3, quarter 4, and then quarter 1 of next year? How can you do this when you have no idea how much stuff is going to cost? Even if you're not importing stuff, right? There's going to be a ripple effect across all markets. There is no plan, guys. Like, no plan. So I don't know what's going on. If you know what's going on, do me a favor, put it in the comments below. Wall Street doesn't know what's going on, so they're going to sit back and hold their money. And the average American is just sitting there trying to survive, and they're trying to figure it out. I just went to the grocery store a couple of hours ago. I bought 13 items. It was almost $80 for 13 items. And mind you, I shop for bargains. I'm looking for the, buy one, get one, 2 for 1, 3 for a certain price. I bought some strawberries, and it was 3 cartons of strawberries for $10. All right, so 3 for 10, which is like a little over $3 each, which was pretty, I thought that was pretty good. So I jumped on that. Wanted to get blueberries, but they were too expensive. So I just passed on that. I bought some boar's head turkey, the mesquite wood smoked turkey. I bought 1 pound, and that was $12, $13 and some change for 1 pound. Right? Stuff is going up, guys. It's just going up. And keep in mind, the tariffs are just now beginning on most products. But again, we don't know is it 10%? Is it 20%? Is it 145%? Is it 43%? We don't know. So again, I'm just going to stand on it. Donald Trump doesn't have a plan. He goes off of instinct, almost exclusively off of instinct. So when he woke up Monday morning today, he decided to do whatever it is he put out there, right? It's going to be the same thing tomorrow. When he wakes up tomorrow, he's going to put out there whatever he decides to put out there. He's not even coordinating with his team. And he doesn't have the best and brightest around him. You have a team of yes people, and they're just trying to go out there to say yes to the stuff that you want to do, but they can't even do that properly because Donald Trump will change his mind every 35, 45 minutes. This is bad, guys. Yep, this is going to lead the recession. Definitely recession. I think everyone agrees on that one. Definitely recession. And like I said a couple months ago, I think this is going to lead to a depression. Maybe not a severe depression, but I think we're going to hit some sort of depression. And we could definitely count on stagflation, right? We know right now, Wall Street is hanging their hat on the numbers that came out for unemployment. And numbers were like better than expected. But we know, all of us know, that Doge is in the process of firing hundreds of thousands of people from government jobs. That's a lagging indicator. That's going to take a few months to hit. And when it does hit, now you're going to have high unemployment numbers, you're going to have high inflation, stagflation. And this is what they wanted to stay away from. This is the worst case scenario. This is what Danielle DiMartino Booth, George Gammon, and all the rest of the talking heads out there, Peter Schiff, all the rest of the talking heads have been talking about stagflation, how you want to stay away from stagflation, but here it comes. And again, this was all self-inflicted, right? Because you got a guy, Donald Trump, who goes off of instincts, fires from the hip, no plan, and this is what we got to deal with. So let me know in the comments below what you think, guys. Just hang tough out there, guys. In the Army, in the Airborne Army, as we would say, hold what you got. Just hold what you got. Stack your money as best you can. Look for bargains. Do the best that you can to stretch your dollar and come up with side hustles and other ways to make money. And just be prepared. I think this is probably gonna last a couple of years, guys. I think best case scenario, we're probably looking at a year and a half, like 18 months. Best case scenario. But I think it's gonna be closer to 2.5 years, maybe 3 years. So this is gonna be bad. It's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. So, but after that, it will get better. So anyway, next time we get together, we'll talk some more about the devaluation of the dollar. Right, a lot of countries are coming away from the U.S. dollar, and the dollar is going down. We'll talk about that next time. And again, I don't know anything about money stuff. If you know about money stuff, do me a favor, man. Hit me up in the comments below. Shoot me some links. Tell me where I should go and find this information. I would really appreciate that. Have a good week, guys. Hang in there. Keep doing what you got to do. I'm DL saying I'll talk to you later. Peace.